Anyone who's perspicacious enough to look around them and sees the true evil in the world today understands that there must be an equal and opposite to that true evil, which is good, which means that God must be real. If all of the evil in the world today is the act of the demons and devil, and people will try and pretend it isn't, but if you truly understood things like the elites making you miss your grandma's funeral to laugh at you, like cutting up the dicks of kids because of a psyop on the Disney Channel, when you truly understand the level of evil in the world today, then you must understand the only equal and opposite force can be God. Another thing I've argued with atheists about, they don't understand that even God as a concept, even just as a concept, in and of himself becomes a real thing. If you have 1,000 people and those 1,000 people believe in a God, even if there's no man in the sky, but those 1,000 people believing in a God makes them act righteously, that even as a concept in and of itself, God is a real force. God, the idea as a force, is making the people act righteously. So God must exist in some form. So I understood that the thing that made me stop being an atheist is simply the amount of evil I saw around me. I was like, if this much evil, if Satan is going to appear, if Satan appears in front of you, you're going to have to say, okay, well then God must be real. And that's the point we got to. I realized there was so much evil and so much injustice. And so much
specifically?
It's just the endless, genuine, deliberate attempts at destroying the baseline morality of humans. Just making us believe that to the point where pedophilia isn't even bad anymore. Like, incest is okay. Like, things we know are wrong. We just innately know it's wrong. And they're just trying their best to destroy our moralities. And these moralities were installed in us by somebody or something. I believe God now. And they are attempting to destroy them. Who would attempt to destroy the baseline morality that was God-given? Satan. So if Satan is trying to destroy our morality, then God must be real. So equal and opposite forces, Newton's law proved God. So once I realized God was real, it's like, okay, then you have all these different interpretations of God, which is interesting. What's interesting about the Christianity-Islamic debate is that they're both Abrahamic. And also, people said to me, well, you're not from the Middle East. Why would you be Muslim? And it kind of makes me laugh. I say, Christianity, didn't that all happen in Palestine? Like, all of it comes from the same place, right? I'm not a scholar, so I don't want to get on the scholastic route. But Christianity and Islam have a lot in common. They worship a lot of the same people. Islam has another book, the last book, which was the Seal. And truthfully, if we're going to step away from the scholarship angles and talk about the Bible and the Quran, etc., I look at it in a different angle. I look at the world through a very realistic understanding of force. And I understand that if you're not prepared to defend something, it will be taken and destroyed. I understand that, like we said earlier, violence is the underpinning of all civilized societies. Even when I look at a big tree, I see violence. I understand that tree is the biggest because it destroyed all the other trees around it. If you're not prepared to defend or fight, then you're going to be destroyed. So when I look at Christianity in its current form, I don't think that they can be right in terms of their interpretation of God, because if they were correct, God would give them the strength to defend themselves. And they don't. Christianity doesn't mean anything anymore. If the Christian interpretation of God was correct, then God would be giving them the strength to resist, but they don't resist anything. I don't believe Christians have preserved a single thing in modern time. I know in America there's this hard-line Christians who believe that they're trying hard. They are still failing on a daily basis. And in most of the world, especially in Europe, Christianity is absolutely not a joke. The thing that actually finally converted me was about 3 weeks ago. I'll send you the TikTok. It was the first drag queen Methodist preacher.
Oh, geez, man.
Yeah, but this is the point. If you're tolerant of everything, then you stand for nothing. So once you say I'm a Christian, but I tolerate everything under the name of tolerance, well, then you no longer have any beliefs. So if you have no beliefs, then all of it is garbage. If you're the only way you can worship a God is if that God gives you instructions, and if those instructions are adhered to and respected by the followers, and also if the followers of the particular God, I'm not going to say names, stick up for and defend those beliefs and are prepared to be ridiculed or prepared to be stigmatized. And two, like I said earlier, a bottom line of society's violence, to fight to defend those beliefs. If you have a belief system that nobody will fight to defend, then you don't have beliefs. Just like feminism. If nobody fights to defend it, it goes away. Like Christianity, if nobody stands up for the rules, it goes away. There is one religion on the planet today in which people stand up for the rules, they stick by the rules, they refuse to be mocked, and they refuse to completely throw away their values and belief systems under the guise of tolerance. Because they don't want to be tolerant of everything. They said, no, we're not tolerant of everything, because when you're tolerant of everything, you have no morality. That's what we talked about earlier. Baseline morality means there's some things you're intolerant of because you're a moral person. So to be moral, you have to be intolerant to a degree. There's one religion on the planet, and that's Islam. So if I'm gonna worship God, and I'm gonna worship God in a way which is true to my own personal beliefs, also what I understand about the world, what I understand about strength, what I understand about defending ideals, then there's only one religion on earth I can respect. I can't respect Christians anymore. They set Notre Dame on fire. Imagine that was the other way around. Like, think about it for a second. I say this all the time. People walk around with t-shirts. Jesus is gay in TVs. They're making fun of Christianity on TV. They're mocking your God in front of your face, and Christians don't say a word. They don't say a word. They will take a preacher of whatever background which directly contradicts your holy book and put him in a church to teach to your children, and they will not say a fucking word. And then they sit there and go, well, they say tolerant because they're cowards. But the truth is this. If your interpretation of God and the world was right, I don't believe God would allow you to sit there and be such a fucking coward. That's what I don't believe. I don't think that God would allow you to do that. I think he'd say, no, you need to defend our ideals because our ideals are good for humanity, and Christians fail to defend them. So if they fail to defend them, they do not exist. There's only one religion left on the planet. Wow. That's Islam. That's it. But it's the only religion. It's so